We are live.
Yay!
Yay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, welcome to the Lear Growing People community, I would love to say. We are simultaneously broadcasting over Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You are here today together with Elena, which is me. I'm the co-founder of Lear Growing People. I'm also leadership and a team coach. And today I have with me Jana Morton, which is our love and relationship coach. Welcome, Jana. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Elena. Thank you for this opportunity. Nice to be here.
So Ramadan is part of Ramadan. Jana is part of our community for I would say actually quite a bit of time. Yeah, despite we met almost more than 1 year ago, it has been everything, going so rapidly and so fast, and I'm so fascinating about Jana's energy and Jana, activation every time that comes to a new challenge, and every time that comes to exploring unknown realms. So thank you very much for bringing the community with this fantastic energy. We have been already teasing our followers, talking about the live of tonight, and we were connecting with the importance in Ramadan to find that inner peace, to give us time to really explore what is balance for us, how we can empower ourselves, how we can make conscious choices. And me and Jana, we were thinking, and we realized that also most of the time many things get in between, such as conflict, for example, and difficult relationship or difficult conversation, in order for us to really achieve that peace, that fulfillment, that balance. Those are the reason why we are here tonight. And I guess there are also other reason. Why are we here, Jana?
Well, Elena, thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. So, why are we here? Well, it's Ramadan. It's the time of well being and resolving conflicts. And I've been noticing lately that my clients keep coming up with so much fear about bringing what is bothering them and festering inside their relationship out there. And that's what brought us to this live talk about what can you do, how we can help you being able to navigate a conflict, because we all have some, especially with the people that we love the most. So this is the reason why we are here today. And please don't be afraid and ask us any questions that might come to your mind.
Yes, use us, guys. Use us the
Yes.
best as you could. We already gathered some questions, but it's always wonderful to have them happening live. So feel free to comment, to share what's going on in your head. Um, I want to jump to this topic. So how can unresolved conflicts, according to you, affect our well-being and affect our relationships?
So the thing is, most of us and most of our clients are really pretty successful people in other areas of their life. And when it comes down to relationships and marriages, then sometimes we get lost. We can navigate conflicts pretty well in the workspace. And then when it comes to the people that we are really deeply connected on more intimate level, we are kind of failing. And it's due to lack of certain development and lack of knowing certain skills, how to even bring up what is really bothering us with the people that we love the most. And overall being, because the relationships we have in our lives are the source of our happiness, well-being, safety. So we all need to be loved and appreciated. And when this is not covered from the people that are the closest to us, then there is no overall well-being.
So I'm hearing you saying that it's not only there are many aspects that could boost our inner peace and our harmony. And according to you, one of the most important is relationships.
Definitely. Yes.
That's a
The
very good perspective, because it's not about only, I feel, um, which people we do relate with, or what's really going on and what we're really getting from the relationship, but it's also how do we want to show up in a relationship. What is that we want to do to make it happen? How do we want to build, co-create, design that relationship? So it's a very nice perspective. I would love you to introduce us the Calling in the One program, because I really think it goes around what we are discussing at the moment.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes. So, a little bit of about myself. I am calling in the one coach. I've been trained and mentored by Catherine Woodward Thomas, which is, for those of you who never heard her name, she's a New York Times bestselling author of the books Calling in the One and Conscious Uncoupling. And she's also amazing transformational speaker and teacher, and also licensed family therapist. And I came across her work when I was myself going through a pretty rough time in my marriage. And I got to the point where, first of all, I was someone that was never able to address or even lean into any kind of conflict. My specialty was just swiping everything underneath the carpet, hoping that one day it's going to resolve on itself, and things going to be just fine. But it got to the point where I literally had nowhere to go, and that's how I found Catherine's work. And this calling in the one program changed my life. I completely transformed from being the victim of my circumstances in my marriage to someone that can take full responsibility for how I was showing up inside my marriage, and also the past relationships that got me to the place where I was, where there was really nowhere to go. And now knowing how these patterns that we mostly adopt and create when we are little children. And there's some circumstances in our lives happening, usually through our primary caregivers. We made so many meanings about ourselves. And this program specializes in really naming the patterns, the toxic patterns that are really driving our relationships mostly on unconscious level. So this is a very structured coaching program where in the first 3 sessions, I guide my clients to really look at the past, name all the patterns that might have been repeating, even if they see some similarity from the dynamics in the family that they grew up. And why is this program so transformative and life changing? Is that we operate under false identities that we created as a little children. And for example, one of the identity that it's very common and present, I would say, in most of our lives is that I'm not good enough. Like, which one of you ever felt like you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not educated enough? We all have it, right? It
Not blah
was
blah blah enough.
blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Yeah, it's very tenacious. It always, once you solve one, then there's another one showing up. It's like never ending. And this has been my biggest false identity. And throughout this program, I learned, first of all, I got to the point where this identity was created. Like, I got to the moment in my childhood when I felt like, okay, I'm not good enough. I'm not accepted. Something is wrong here. And just to bring you a little bit closer to my surroundings and my environment where I grew up. So I'm from a little village in the countryside of Czech Republic. And I had a beautiful childhood surrounded by nature. We lived on a little farm with animals. So my environment was beautiful on the outside. But inside my family, there was a lot of toxicity. My dad was an alcoholic. My grandmother was a very pessimistic and manipulative person. And inside that environment, I was surrounded by lots of fear and insecurities. And I felt like I don't really belong and there's something wrong with me. And I created lots of unhealthy patterns and beliefs that I totally adopted about myself and others that were showing up in my relationships, especially in my marriage. And by getting to the point of how this I am not good enough was created, I was able to wake myself out of it. This program specializes in waking people out of the trance of their victimization. So this program really goes deep, and it really gives you so many useful tools how to navigate your life outside of your victimized story and really get the power back and see what
I
is going to
while
help
you
you.
are talking, I'm visualizing two things. I like the name, the calling in the one. I really imagine somebody saying, "Hey, you inside there, you true one, come
Exactly.
on,
Yes.
come
Yes. Come
on,"
out.
you know. And and it's very funny because I also do believe that the only way to attract the real one, and when I think about a couple or a relationship, I think about somebody that really is the right person for you. It's the right combination for you. It's giving you what is that you need to grow, to expand, to understand new lessons, to be enriched. Um, and I realized when you were talking that if we do not have the capacity of bringing up the one we are, barely we will be able to attract to us the one we want. Is
That's
about
it.
meeting several ones. So this brings me to the other questions. No, who is this program for? Who is the right person that you should come and do the
So
calling?
you beautifully named it. That it's called calling into one. That's the trademark. And this program, it's not only about being able to attract the right person towards you, but it's also about knowing who you are, what you need, what are you feeling most of the time when you are angry and disappointed, and where is all of this frustration coming from? We are back into the conflicts, right? And so this program is for someone who really wants to dive deeper, someone who feels like whether you are single inside of relationship or marriage and you feel like you are being stuck and you cannot really move and you might have tried everything and you still feel like everything is failing and your partner doesn't appreciate you, you feel like you are not being loved enough, you don't feel safe, just all of these obstacles. So this program, it's just perfect for you. But I have to say, it works for people that are really willing to look deep at themselves as the source of their experience. Because what people tend to do when my clients they come to me and they keep complaining about, yeah, but my boyfriend and my husband and they do this to me, like how can they, and then I'm the victim. And yes, we, under no circumstances, minimize the impact that behavior of the people that we care and love about, the impact that the behavior has on us. But I always tell my clients, so let's say that 97% it's your partner's fault or your friend's fault, your boss's fault, anyone you are in a relationship with. Let's say, but we are interested in the 3% that goes to you. And that's where we usually find the gold. Then it's usually more than 3%. It might be 5, 10, sometimes it's 50. Because it's automatic that we blame other people for what's happening to us, right? Or how we feel, how they hurt us. But this program is really based on how I'm allowing that, how I'm allowing this crappy behavior happening to me. And it usually goes down to not existing boundaries, being the pleaser, and having fear about even bringing stuff up, just like in my case, because I wanted to be liked. I was scared that if I bring stuff up, my husband will leave me, all of these issues. So this program is really for someone who wants to give up being the victim and take full control over their lives.
I feel that might be for those one who are willing to look at this, as you name it, 3% they feel responsible for. But there's also other people, and tell me if I'm wrong, that think they are 90% responsible, and they're blaming onto themselves for what they've done.
So
Uh,
yes, that's
Either
the
one
other.
case or the other, I definitely feel that there's growth here, because acceptance of yourself or of the other person, it's a big job, because either we don't want to blame on others, but also we don't want to have a self-disruptive attitude, right? So this is what I've seen most of the time in relationship, is either you or me. And this is the beginning of the conflict, when there's no we, or there's it's very hard to be able to see the self and the other without judging without negatively be violent on that self. I know it's a strong word, but we can really become super violent with ourselves and with other people when emotion it's in, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot
it's
of things going on.
beautiful that you brought this up, the responsibility on the other side. Like someone might feel it's all my fault, it's all the self-loading. And for those kind of people, if they're willing to really go deeper and find the healthy balance, how much can I really take on? What is healthy for me? So if someone is over responsible, then this program can show them how to bring it back to the balance. So we are equal in the relationship.
Yeah.
It
So
teaches
I'm
people how
glad you
to
said
take
this.
care of themselves.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, 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 it's okay. We are now, started listing a lot of benefits. We talked about stopping this projection that potentially come from your childhood or from your past, being able to identify your true self, bring back that balance, learn also some communication skills, stop the victimism. What other benefits do you think that calling in the one program might bring?
So it's a lot about, as I mentioned before, getting to know yourself, what's healthy for you, how to take care of yourself. Because most of us, people in the coaching field, we are empaths, we are out there to help people, we are devoted to self growth, and often we are big pleasers. So if you get yourself that this might be your case, then you may struggle by feeling you're not good enough, you're not worthy, no matter how much you do, it's never good enough. And with this lens, you project it onto other people, and especially the people that you love the most. So this program really brings you and shows you what is healthy for you. What do you really need to thrive, not only inside of your relationships, but also in life in general? It just transform you from, as you mentioned before, Elena, being the victim into someone that's self-responsible. That's the most beautiful thing of this
And
whole
let's
program.
not confuse responsibility with beating yourself up, because this might be the risk. Responsibility, when it's consciously taken, actually is a gift, is a big opportunity. So I guess we also have to learn to see responsibility not as something that is so heavy on our shoulder and pushing us down, but something that I'm really proud to take on too, and to honor. And I definitely think that this path can really lead people to embrace responsibility in that way, rather than in a negative one. So I have collected a few questions from my client in the past that I've addressed to you, or a client that came to you, for to discover, what is this program about. And would you like to answer some of this question?
Sure, sure.
So the first one we got is how to initiate difficult conversation. So you mentioned before you tend to put, the dust under the carpet and waiting and waiting. Oh, maybe it will get fixed. Maybe he will initiate it. Maybe he will read into my mind and understand what's going on.
The
Uh,
frustration is growing, and you're becoming more resentful and angry, and the air is thick. And the more stuff that's underneath the carpet, the more difficult it is to initiate this difficult conversation. And how to do that. So, with this program, you really know yourself, and you know the obstacles and all the limiting beliefs that are preventing you from leaning into the conflict and the difficult conversation. So, you will learn how to hold yourself. So, if I can answer this question in a simple way, how to initiate difficult conversation, first make sure you are calm and not reactive. If you feel like you are overflowing with anger and all kinds of resentment, and you just want to get to the point of blaming someone for what they do to you, then make sure you take a day or maybe two, sometimes it's even a week, until you are really ready and have a clear intention of why are you bringing this up. Is it because it has been bothering you for a few months, maybe a year? Because sometimes, especially as women, we tend to hold the hurt inside, unresolved. So just make sure you have clear intention of what do you want to achieve with this conversation, and then inform your partner about it. Tell him, hey, honey, I have something that's really bothering me, and I would like to talk to you about that. So let's find a good time for both of us where we both feel relaxed. There are no kids running around bothering us. Let's just find a time, and I would like to talk to you about something. What do you say? Just have the permission and be in your loving mode, no matter what is happening, no matter how angry you are still talking to someone that you were crazy in love with at the beginning of your relationship. And we tend to forget about that, over time, over the time, with all the logistics and the kids and this crazy busy world and life, we really forget about what is it, why did I fall in love with this person. It's the same person. It's just life happens. And the more we don't talk about what is bothering us, the more disconnected we become. So don't let it go that far. Have a clear intention and be loving. That's my
the,
advice.
the intention is so important. Sometimes I feel, we get into conversation that are not conversation, are as ventilating. And you could do it in front of a person, or in front of a wall, you will get the same results, because nobody like to be to receiving aggression, when usually the person shut down. And you ended by saying, bring the love. And I guess that sometimes it's we forget, as you said, where the love was. What should I, connect to in order to be able to bring that love back? What is love for me now? Which type of love? Where do I find that love, that I can use as an anchor to start the conversation and to keep myself aligned, you know. Sometimes it's useful, I feel, to it's very necessarily having that clear, you know. And sometimes it's not easy to achieve this clarity by yourself.
You named it so beautifully. Where to find love, how to not be angry and blame the partner, right? And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Knowing your 3% and knowing how your behavior, whether it is, playing the good girl, never speaking up, everything is okay, how that is actually impacting our partners, right? Because we seem like we have no needs, we are okay with everything, we never say anything, and then all of a sudden we are so angry. We are so angry that we cannot even look at them. So just knowing how you are contributing to what is happening minimizes the anger because you can see the impact.
I exactly have a questions around anger that is asking, how will I manage my anger during my communication?
It takes practice. And the longer you keep the things between you festering, the more and the bigger the anger becomes. So, how to manage anger during conversation? Again, have your intention in front of you always, because no matter how well you want the conversation to go, your partner might say a few things that trigger you and you get angry. So always come into difficult conversation with what I intend to achieve here. Is it to get connected? Is it to make my point? Is it to get certain support in the issues that we are having? What is it? What is it?
And
And
I really like, because actually when you were talking, I also felt in an open communication, it's good to name it, you know. And when you feel maybe you are getting angry, you can even cut yourself up and say, no, but the reason why I want to have this conversation is because of XYZ. And you can even address it with with the person you're talking with, you know, like, no, we're going outside for the purpose of this conversation, you know, like I want to talk about this, I want to talk about what is that I feel that I need, whatever the reason is, you know. Because sometimes we also think it only in our head, which is correct, it needs to be there as a lighthouse. But sometimes also saying to the other person, reason why I'm doing that is for this, you know, and I don't want to go anywhere else. Maybe this can be done later, but let's do one thing at a time, you know. And sometimes even naming it and letting the other person know what is the reason why we're doing what we're doing, um, clear a little bit up the way from the other person feeling manipulated or feeling, you know, she's not in control of the conversation itself. Are you agreed somehow with what I'm saying?
I do, especially if you walk into the difficult conversation with certain intention and then you're not receiving the feedback you were hoping for. Um, if you get overly triggered and angry during the conversation, you can easily say, look, I'm really getting irritated. I'm really getting angry. This is not going to go well. I'd rather take some time off now to calm myself down and let's continue this later. We are all humans. And if we want to get the connection back and actually resolve something, we cannot be angry.
And it's so
It's
beautiful to name it, you know. It's so
it's
beautiful to let the other person, I don't want anger to be in place right now, so I rather stop and we resume in another moment, which would be more profitable and efficient for us to get to the outcome that we want. I also have been seeing a lot of people putting a lot of efforts, going through everything that you have described so far. So, where is my responsibility? Where his or her responsibility? How can I manage my emotion? How can I, what is the right way of dealing with starting a conversation, managing myself during the conversation? But what if you have the conversation and you agreed on something, or both partners they take responsibility onto some accountabilities, let's say, and
Mhm.
then you don't get to the outcome, and this is another question: what if we agree onto something but we do not get the outcome we wanted, or the other person, or even myself, I'm not respecting what we agreed on to?
Yes, this is wonderful question. And again, we are all only humans. So when we are able to look at ourselves and all our little imperfections that belong to us, instead of getting angry at your partner for not up upping his game and really showing up and being responsible and doing what was agreed on, again, you will probably achieve much more just being calm and bring this up. Leave if it's something that you seriously agreed on and your partner is not following up. You might say, honey, do you remember that conversation we had the other day? We agreed on XYZ. And look, no offense, but is there something more I can do to help you so this is done? Something like that, just really being kind. Because when you approach your partner, and I get it, we all get frustrated, like, come on, we agreed on this, like, why is this not done? That's not going to get you too far. He will only hear like the nagging voice, and he will be probably like, yeah, whatever. So just approaching him with love and
And I really love, the way you mention it, because when you approach people with love, actually you are loving yourself. Because I feel that anybody likes hearing their own voice yelling onto somebody else. Nobody likes hearing their own emotion being so bad and in desire to destroy the person in front of you. So when we got hit and hijacked by those bad words, bad emotion, we see the worst part of ourselves, and it's not nice. It's a not nice place where to be. It's normal and it's beautiful to know that we also have this part within, but it's our responsibility as an adult person not to throw that bad things against others. We can learn how to manage that and how to deal with that without being killers. Now I'm kind of exaggerating, but
you
it's
named it.
you know,
You named it really beautifully, because the more compassion and love you have
oof. I think we have some problem with the communication and the connection. I don't know, Jana, if you can hear me properly. We cannot hear Jana. I cannot hear her. Can you hear her, guys? Yeah, we cannot hear Jana. Let's see if I can get any comments. Can you hear me? I will try to invite Jana again to join us in the conversation. I'm just waiting to hear from you guys if you can hear me. We have a little bit of technical issue. Sorry for that. Let's see. Jana,
Elena,
can
can
you
you hear
hear
me?
me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Perfect.
I can hear. We completely lost you. So I don't know if it was my internet or yours. But yeah, we really come talk about that place of, of unconditional love and compassion. This is the last things that I hear you saying. Um, is there something else that you want to add?
So we were at what if we were the question, what if what we agreed on to is not respected and desired outcome is not coming? So yeah, the loving and compassionate approach. And I can repeat this again, the more compassion you have for yourself and all your imperfections that are at the end of the day making you so lovable, then you can easily forget others. I mean, forgive others for their imperfections and just bring it gently up. This has been agreed on. So what can we do together to make sure that the outcome is there,
Absolutely.
whatever
So
they.
we could keep talking about this topic for ages because both being coaches and having our client in the room with us, bringing their own real story, but also thinking about our own personal stories, of marriage with kids, brought up in certain families, in certain surrounding. We can go on and on and on. Is there something that you feel you would love to share with our followers that we haven't said yet that for you is important?
It's a very good question. Don't be afraid to dive deeper into what really is behind the anger and the frustration you feel, and what really is behind that fear of resolving conflict or bringing issues up. What is really the true cause of this? Because that's where you usually find the gold. And if you want to dive deeper, then the Calling in the One program is just the right program for you. Because it's at the end of the day, it's calling back yourself. It's not about only finding the one, but it's about finding yourself.
And that's so beautifully said. And sometimes I think that all this topic are pretty much also related to the fear of failure, to the fear of let go, of losing something. And every time we lose something is a kind of dying a little. A part of us will die a little, and then we have to go through the grief process, and this is damnly scary. So it's human to be scared. It's fantastic to be vulnerable. It's exceptional to have people you can reach out to in order to feel, first of all, that you are not the only one. Second of all, there's always a way out. That when we truly connect with this inner strength and inner power, we can really achieve things we would have never imagined would have been possible for us. We can change relationship. We can change relationship with children, husband, parents, mother, friends, massively. I've been witnessing this with the hundred of clients. I've been witnessing this myself in my personal life. So the only thing that I wanted to say, if you resonate with what we have talked about tonight, if you have resonate with the energy that Jana is bringing, that energy of unconditional love, of compassion, of self-management, of depth, please reach out to Jana. Here you have her link to her website. Do we have a special gift for people that will reach out to you, Jana?
Well, it's 30 minutes free coaching session, and especially for those of you who have not been coached yet, who did not have the experience yet being with the coach. What can you expect? You can expect that you will be held in a safe space where you can be as authentic as you can, and you can share anything you like, just knowing that you're not going to be judged. So it's amazing time, and I love being coached because that time it's someone gives you undivided attention. It's all about you. Like it's all about your desires, what do you want, what do you fear,
And
anything.
it's so rare, to have the chance of
Yeah,
being completely focused on ourselves without with
without judgment.
an healthy ego, a very healthy ego, with somebody that is helping you understanding what is that you really need and how to name it, how to live it, how to bring it into action, into life. So I've just added in the comments the link to connect with Jana. Um, and this is just the opportunity to brainstorm together with her to bring it to a tailoring process when Jana can really see how this can be tailored on you, what benefit you might get out of it, what is the goal that you want specifically achieve thanks to the path and the program and the journey you will do with Jana. So thank you so much for the time. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your passion, your knowledge, your experience, for being able to answer to all those questions. And I really hope we will be able to welcome you here again. And definitely, I also really hope that with all those one, we will be able to call up with our, through self-love and unconditional love and compassion. Definitely the world could become a better place
Otherwise,
for our
definitely.
children. And I guess that if we do a good job for our children, wouldn't be so hard to manage difficult conversation. It wouldn't be so hard to name thing, to be loved unconditionally. So as parents, we have a duty. As leaders, we have even a very similar duty. So now it's your turn, guys. But there's nothing much we can say apart from being very grateful for the time you have given. And thank you very much, Jana.
Thank you, Elena, for inviting me over, and thanks everyone on this call. It's a pleasure being here. All my love to you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.